What's happening, guys? Joe Clem 15. Uh, Post-fight thoughts. Pacquiao, Mosley. Um, been hesitant to do this video because I've been gathering my thoughts about it, uh, emotions about it. Um, Uncle Chuck Nitty actually came out with a video on the subject, and a lot of what he says captures my feelings about it, and that aside from this being Mayweather, Pacquiao, side or ordeal, whatever, aside from all that, in terms of boxing as a whole, um, it's just sad. It's just really sad. Like, he said that Uncle Chuck Nitty said that he's ashamed to be a fan. He's embarrassed. And I feel like I have that same embarrassment. Like, you know, as a boxer, as somebody who plans to turn pro in the sport, it's just, I feel like my sport is lost. And I'm thinking to myself, where did boxing go wrong? It didn't just happen. It's been a gradual process of just this lack of structure that causes people to do whatever they want. Man, a few weeks ago, my heart sunk because my girlfriend told me, "Am I going to her graduation?" I was like, "Yeah." You know, she's like, "Remember, it's May 6th, Saturday night," and I was like, "Oh shit." Little did I know I was being saved. You know, I actually didn't pay for this fight. I came back and watched it on a replay I found online. I was able to find it. It was just bad, man. It was just really bad. I mean, both fighters look bad. Obviously, Shane looked a lot worse. Um, there's theories that it's a fixed fight. I'm open to that idea. Whether it's fixed or not, it's evident that Shane Mosley was not trying his hardest. The hell with him being at his best. We knew he wasn't going to be at his best, but I didn't see any effort being put towards being inputted in the fight. People who are heavily against Manny are going to say it was definitely fixed. People who are heavily leaning towards Manny are going to say, well, Shane was so shocked by his power that he retreated and just gave up the entire fight. I've never seen Shane Mosley fight like that. And aside, you know, despite the fact that he's 39 years old, I can tell when somebody's trying and when somebody's not. Okay, Mayorga at 38 years old gave his all against Cotto. May have bitched out at the end, but at least through 11 and a half rounds, you could see that Mayorga was putting forth his full effort. Shane Mosley scared of somebody's power, like truly scared of somebody's power, to the point where they don't want to, you know, if they get hit in the face, they're not going to hit back anymore. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me personally, and I'm just being super honest. I'm trying to be as super unbiased as possible. I'm just giving you my straightforward feelings about the subject. I look at these two fighting. I look at the chemistry between the two, and they just seem somewhat friendly, like very, very friendly, kind of like the Pacquiao and Clottey build-up, which, as I've said on other channels, I think that fight was fixed. But there's just no tension. Aside, I mean, I know Pacquiao's a nice guy, but there's just no animosity shown between the two fighters during the build-up. Not even in the press conferences. They're smiling and happy. Even throughout the fight, it's just like, okay, we're cool. You know, I mean, Mosley was just being a bitch. He was like that. Is just I've never seen that before. You know what I mean? Like, even the knockdown Al Bernstein, whoever was commentating said, you see that look on his face? And that look on his face is saying, oh, what just hit me? I mean, that look on his face was, to me, was like, bitch, why'd you hit me that hard? We're supposed to be fucking just moving around. This isn't supposed to be real. Why'd you hit me like that? you know, nah, I'm just playing. I don't know about all that, but, you know, the punch, the punch actually could have been really not that hard, but when I look at the replay, Mosley bent down and the left hand clipped him right here. And to be honest with you, I've never, on my boxing, I've never been knocked down. And I've only been dazed, like really dazed once. And that's because I was outboxing the shit out of somebody. Pow, pow, pow. I kept, every time they threw a power punch, I was ducking. And one of the times I ducked and they were getting so frustrated, they swung super hard and down, and they hit me right there where Mosley got hit. And I stood up, and I kind of made the same face he did. I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, did you just elbow me, or did you just knee me in the back of the head? Like, my legs were kind of like, a little shaky. So I don't know if it was the punch or if Shane was just mad that, this was supposed to be a little under the table paycheck exhibition, and Pacquiao hit him with something serious. Shane was pissed off, but essentially this is one of the biggest fights, if not biggest fights of your life. He didn't try his hardest. Like, he didn't try at all. Not only did he not try his hardest, but he didn't try at all. Even when he was throwing his right hand, sometimes it was like he was being careful, careful that he didn't throw it too hard. In the press conference, he's not even upset that he lost. He's just at ease with it. Like, it's almost like he expected to lose and was already prepared for it. Oh, and fancy that, he's going on vacation. We're not going to see Shane in his next fight to see as a comparative standpoint. He's going to go on a long-ass vacation just like Claudia did. Yeah, I know this is a messed up thing to say if you're a Pacquiao fan, because it's discrediting. Well, too bad. Like, as great as I think Manny is, I don't think I don't know if you watch the Shane versus Mayweather fight and this fight, it's two totally different Shanes. Despite the fact that both Mayweather and Pacquiao come forward the entire fight, it's evident that one fighter is putting forth their fullest effort, and the other fight, Shane is just not trying at all. It's a shame. It's like, I feel like it's like, you ever see like a kid who's like a really, really good kid, but they have jacked up parents? Well, this is kind of what it is for me. I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan. I love his craft. I like him, well, at least what I see on TV as a person. I don't really know who he is personally, but as a fighter, I very unique. I love watching his style, but his promoter just kills it for me. Before, I used to say that Bob Arum is robbing and Freddie Roach is robbing Pacquiao of his legacy, but the more and more I think about it, legacy is nothing but public perception. And therefore, since it's up to the public to define your legacy, I just kind of throw legacy out the window. These fights are meaningless. The Mayweather fight has to take place. Mayweather and Pacquiao. For me to really put a stamp on either Mayweather's or Pacquiao's career, these two have to fight each other. This would have never, this doesn't happen. This is not supposed to be happening. Back in the early 90s to 80s, 70s, it's just so different now. Like, this is just dumb. This is just dumb. If Mayweather is coming back to fight Victor Ortiz, I love that. You know what I mean? Like, Ortiz is by no means of the status of a Manny Pacquiao, but Ortiz is coming off of an impressive win. He's got his confidence. He's a dangerous opponent. He has attributes that can give Mayweather problems. He outweighs him by probably like 20 pounds coming into the ring. It's a full quality fight. Okay, you know, there's just rumors that fight's gonna happen, so it's not set in stone. And because of that, why isn't Ortiz an option for Manny at this point? I heard Bob Arum say that, oh, we might fight Tim Bradley. Oh, we might fight Marquez. Okay, but why not Ortiz? If Ortiz is currently not set in stone to fight anybody, why isn't he even an option? And ask yourself this, because some people might say, well, it's because they're trying to get a deal done with Mayweather. If you had never heard rumors of Mayweather versus Victor Ortiz, do you think that Bob Arum right now would say, oh, well, you know, our possible opponents right now are Victor Ortiz or Marquez or Tim Bradley? He wouldn't even bring up Ortiz. Pacquiao would beat Ortiz, but Pacquiao would take a lot of punishment fighting Ortiz, you know, or possibly risk getting knocked out. I mean, just because you're better than somebody doesn't mean you're going to necessarily win. You know, I don't know how else to explain that, but being better than somebody doesn't mean you automatically win. To truly get a sense of who's better than somebody, you should actually fight them 10 times, because you're not going to beat two elite fighters fighting each other. If they fight each other 10 times, it's not going to be a solid correlation of win. Most likely not, at least. But anyway, my only point in saying that is that if Pacquiao's team sees it as too much of a risk, then I just feel like they're not going to take the fight. Tim Bradley can't beat Pacquiao. Marquez can't beat Pacquiao at welterweight. I mean, he could give Marquez, and Marquez could give him problems, but not enough to where, you know, if it's a draw in your first two fights at super featherweight, and Manny's gotten faster, stronger, and more intelligent since then, and you've only gotten older, there's no way that you're going to perform better, being that every single attribute has improved for one fighter, and you're moving up in weight. So it's pretty much a pointless fight. The Tim Bradley fight is a pointless fight. Pacquiao, I mean, aside from Mayweather, fight Ortiz, fight Sergio Martinez. I mean, come on, man. In terms of Mayweather, man, again, these days, I find it so annoying that somebody can be so complacent that you just fight once a year. I understand that this dude wants to enjoy his money. That's fine, but as a fan, as somebody who has supported you in pay-per-views, you owe me. You owe me as a fan to be fighting. I'm not gonna say like, you know, 8 times a year, or something crazy like that, but you have a obligation to please your fans, and every Mayweather fan on YouTube will admit that they are not satisfied with Mayweather's lack of activity. The complacency is ridiculous, where he thinks he can just fight every so often. The truth is, boxing is, you know, I kind of think of boxing as its own entity. It's kind of like you can only get away with certain things so long. Eventually, it will catch up with you. Whether it be Ali coming back from retirement and taking punishment on the ropes, eventually it will catch up to you. Whether it be Roy Jones not fighting anybody, you know, his whole career, and then getting his chin tested at the end, it'll catch up to you, you know. Whether it be Manny Pacquiao not fighting the most dangerous opponents out there and fighting people not past their prime, coming off of unimpressive wins, fighting leftovers, it'll catch up to you. Being skillfully the best fighter around, and then coming back every so often. Eventually living that luxurious lifestyle. You can only do it for so long, spending millions and millions. You're not a billionaire. You're gonna have to come back and fight and pay taxes, pay rent, pay this, and that. And if you lose a step and you get knocked out, oh, guess what? It catches up to you. Uh, but as of now, I feel like boxing is being raped. You remember, I don't know how many people watch South Park, but basically, South Park is known for their satire, and they're making fun of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Skull, whatever, the last movie from this franchise. And basically, it was just so bad in comparison to the other Indiana Jones movies that they literally depicted uh, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas as raping Indiana Jones. Well, as of now, I feel like Bob Arum is raping the sport of boxing. He has the poster boy of boxing as of now, the forefront, the pound for pound king, and 2 times. Okay, at least the Margarito fight was entertaining, but the Cloudy fight was not, and I truly believe it was fixed. And for this Shane fight, I truly believe it was fixed. Uh, Nonetheless, even if those 2 fights weren't fixed, the selection of opponents doesn't make any sense. Claudia didn't deserve it. Shane didn't deserve it, and they both end up being shitty fights. Very, 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 very bad fights. Uh, One took part in Dallas Stadium. This other one took part with build-up showing up on CBS. So you have boxing in the spotlight, and it's being given criticisms that's dying, and this is how we show up. This is a we thing in terms of boxing. This is a we thing as fans. If you love boxing, you have a bitter taste in your mouth. No matter if you like Pacquiao, Mayweather, Paulie Malignaggi, it doesn't matter. It's just bad. It's sad. I'm not buying a Mayweather fight until he fights Pacquiao. I'm not buying a Pacquiao fight until he fights Mayweather. Yeah, I might buy the Klitschko and Hay fight, but that's about it. You know, to go over a little quick recap of what's going on, you have an organization that has no leader. There's no David Stern of boxing. There's no Robert Goodell of boxing. It's just the people who have most power are the promoters and the fighters. That's like in football, if the biggest, the most important people, or the most people with the most power were the players and their agents. So you're in a market where just bullshit happens like this. So it doesn't surprise me. There's nobody being in charge of what's being run. Commissions vary depending on state. You have weight classes that are separated, even though they should be meshed. Junior welterweight should just be welterweight. And we'd have less of a problem with people fighting each other, because you can't afford to avoid people from 140 to 147. It would be impossible. You have to fight the best of the best. And then, of course, the belts. Anybody can make up a belt. We can make a Joe Clem 15 belt if we wanted to, if you have the money to. So there's just several things wrong with boxing. It's probably not going to change. How it's going to be fixed, I don't know. I do have faith that it will, though. Somebody will come along and change things. Somebody will recognize what's going on. If it requires people getting so fed up that less money is being put in, maybe that will be the eye-opener. I don't know. But till then, I'm just going to be doing my old thing, I guess, boxing myself. I'm going to try to post some of my fights up on here, as soon as I get a camera that I can carry around. But whatever, man. These are just my thoughts. Joe Clem 15. Peace.